Okay, so some interesting news coming from the Xbox community with an Xbox Developer Direct being spoke about coming later this month. Could this mean that we're in for a new shadow drop of a game or even some Starfield Shattered Space information? We're going to talk about all of it today as we have the date for this release. Now, if you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. And on top of that, check out our sponsor, Advanced GG, the #1 clinically proven energy supplement on the market. My favorite flavor is cherry vanilla, but you guys can catch an array of flavors via the link in the description and utilize code CLOUD at checkout for a cheeky discount. That being said, let's dive on into some news. Now, we have got some information via a leak coming from Xantorn here on Reddit. Now, just to give you guys a bit of a post movement for this guy, because he has got a really good track record. Not only has he posted up 2 individual dates for Nintendo Directs scheduled, one back in June and another one in September that he got correct, he also has done a Sony State of Play prediction for the September 14th, which again was also correct. So this guy's got a track record of being able to predict or at least leak some information with regards to when these dates are going to be going live. So this is a solid input. We do have a second source as well, although a little less reliable, at least because we don't have a reputation track with the other one, but we're going to take a look at this one today. So Xantorn actually comes up with the Xbox Direct will be held the week of January 14th. First Xbox event of the year is going to be the week of the 14th. Can't speak on the shadow drop rumors, but the date has now been set in stone. So when we start looking at the week of the 14th, this is actually incredible because we've got the week between the 14th and the 20th, of which this has borderline being confirmed on an article inside of the insidergames.com, where they say that the next Xbox Developer Direct coming later this month. Now, they go on to talk about the post that has gone up on Reddit anyway, but they go to state right here, should it happen that week, it will likely sometime between January 15th and 19th, as those are the weekdays for the week. It's unlikely Microsoft will hold an event at this point during the weekend. This comes just days after it was spotted online that the Developer Direct could be happening on the 25th, which we'll get into that post in just a second. But they state, while we can't confirm the exact date and time just yet, Insider Games also understands that there is an event scheduled to take place within the next couple of weeks, further adding credence to the rumors. Now, they have reached out to Xbox for comment on the rumored show and will update this article should a response be provided. That is extremely good. But when they start talking about the fact that the Developer Direct could be happening on the 25th, what they're referring to is this post right here, which is coming from a guy on Twitter who I don't really know anything about, and I don't really know anything about his background or whether he's actually leaked out anything correctly, but he has a post right here which is about the Developer Direct, stating that Xbox is setting the stage for a new Developer Direct event, following in the footsteps of the successful start of 2023, which for the record went actually really well. At this upcoming event, expect fascinating presentations with news about the titles already announced, giving players a look behind the curtain, some of the most anticipated projects like Hellblade, Towerborn, etc. But here comes the main dish. I am told that during this event we could witness a new shadow drop, or for those of you guys who don't know what that means, a surprise release, which is almost adamant to happen anyway. We're going to get into it in a second, but with the game being available at the same event or even several weeks later, it may not be exactly the same as a Hi-Fi Rush case, but we would have something very similar from a game with a close release date. Now, this happens all year round throughout these events, and in the Developer Direct, I'm expecting so much to come from it, including probably the new DLC for Starfield, which is due to release later on this year. But again, we'll dive into that in a second. But for those of you guys who don't know what a shadow drop is essentially when they announce a release date for a game that we knew nothing about, and this happens throughout the year quite a lot. And with the games that we've got coming this year, I am personally myself not overly excited for a lot of them outside of Star Wars Outlaws and stuff like that, especially with the First Descendant as well. They're 2 games that I'm really keeping an eye on this year, but there's not a massive list for me of games that are sort of like top tier gaming, and this happens all the time. And for me, I think Game of the Year is hidden in one of these shadow drops happening later this year. Now, whether it will come from the Developer Direct or not, we're yet to be seen, and this is one of those where they kind of predict this motive and they say we're going to expect a shadow drop, but you kind of can't really get this wrong, because if they do, then they're like, wow, look, I predicted it. But if it doesn't come up inside of the developer direct, then they can just say, well, look, developments change and things happen. So it's kind of a really easy thing to sort of plug out there, and especially with such a big sort of audience, especially around 55,500 views on Twitter, it generally does gain a lot of citing. But we've got 2 different weeks that we're looking at this one in, although the first one does seem a little bit more reliable, especially with the source and then Insider Games stating that in the next couple of weeks they're due to expect something, with it being the 2nd week from now that we should be expecting this based on the first leak, and 3rd week from now on the 2nd info slide. So however you want to take it, the first one for me is a little bit more reliable, but let me know in the comment section what you guys are thinking based on what you know about these people. Now, this does have a lot of info with it with regards to obviously what it could bring to the table. Like I've just stated, Starfield's Shatter Space DLC is due this year, and we know full well that Starfield is an Xbox or Microsoft exclusive. We're fully expecting to get some more information on that DLC, which is quite crucial to the game's lifeline later on in this developer direct. I'm really excited to see what comes from it. Me myself, massive Starfield fan, although right now I'm sat on the fence with how this game is actually going to be looking, with it not meeting the respectful rights of the players at hand. A second one that we've got in movement though is that the developer for the highly anticipated first-person survival horror game Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl gives an update on a new release window. Now, I'm fully expecting to gain a load more information on this one, as actually GSC Game World, which is the Ukrainian developer behind the upcoming Stalker 2, has given an update on a long-awaited first-person survival horror game. For those of you guys who played the original Stalker, this game is well known, but it's including the release window of Q1 for 2024. Now, the development for the first game in the franchise to be released in 15 years has been beset with a series of hurdles. Now, for those of you guys who don't know too much about it, but obviously with this development team being in Ukraine, we know that there has been a lot of controversial movements and a lot of politics that have been happening in those countries. But that obviously stuck a massive hold on it. We were due to have this game absolutely years ago, but since things have happened, it's likely to be the case as to why we never saw this game, as well as a liquidation of company development rights way back when. But this, for me, is probably the 2 biggest titles that we're looking to see inside of it. We could have another hi-fi rush moment where we have a shadow drop. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, in the last developer direct in 2023, it went down like an absolute treat, and it was such a good event. I really enjoyed watching it, and it was a lot of good fun. And on top of that, they obviously shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush, which actually did pretty damn well, and was a game that a lot of people did enjoy, and it does look really, really good. And I'm hoping for a game to be announced throughout this big time. If there is a leak or at least a rumor of a shadow drop, I'm really hoping to expect one, because this game year has been a little bit weak to say the least, and I'm really hoping that they can pull through with a banger title out of nowhere that can pull us through for a game of the year. I'm expecting it this year, one stage or another. I don't know who's announcing it, but there ain't no way any of these games right now are going to be hitting game of the year. It's just not happening. Now, that is just a bit of info leak for you guys here on the channel. If you want me to keep updated with the Xbox Developer Direct information, then make sure you let me know via the comment section and by liking this post to make sure that I know that I'm doing things right here on the channel. If you managed to get this far though, stick a little X in the comment section. It'd be greatly appreciated. But for now, up until the next time, thank you so much again for watching, guys. I appreciate all of your faces, and thanks for the last year here on the channel. It's been incredible. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate you all, and as always, I'll see you in the clouds.